Three October surprises to defeat Trump. It seems like something the Democrats would do. On September 5th, the Wall Street Journal put together a list of things that could happen between now and the presidential election that would change the outcome. One item on that list is especially scary. Make America vote again. Is it really necessary? Recently, in the 18%, 90% mystery, why we don't get the government we deserve, we discussed the possibility that, because elections are fixed, the uniparty rules, and for other reasons, voting may not matter anymore. But arguably it still does this year. Pundits and politicians always say that the current election is the most important one in U.S. history. But in 2024, that may be true. In recent decades, the presidential election has been between uniparty Tweedledum and uniparty Tweedledummer. But this year, the difference between the Dems and Trump could hardly be bigger, sharper, and clearer. Donald Trump is not a Dole, McCain, Romney, Rhino stooge, which of course is why the elite class will do their most to defeat him and the will of the American people. So yes, the possibility of an October surprise that would flip the outcome of the 2024 election could be a big deal. The recent history of electoral surprise 2020, the surprise that didn't happen. In 2020, the U.S. government's secret police and its controlled media squelched the Hunter Biden laptop story. Very probably, this prevented a decisive Trump victory and changed the course of history. The present state of electoral surprise 2024. The aforementioned Wall Street Journal article listed three possible October surprises: a financial panic in America, a recession in China, political paralysis in Europe. Yes, a financial crisis in China might rock the global financial system. But would that make a Trump victory here more or less likely? And yes, a rising of the right in Europe to oppose massive immigration and socialism could create widespread turmoil there. But would that make a Trump victory here more or less likely? Neither question seems to have a clear, unambiguous answer. And in general, it seems unlikely that economic or political events in distant lands will be a decisive surprise in the U.S. election. But a financial panic in America? That might be a different story. Or is it? What if the stock market or bond market or both crash? What if inflation spikes again, but even worse this time? What if banks start to fail? Who will American voters blame? That might not seem to be clear, but it is. We know who the media will blame. The media will blame Trump. They will not blame Kamala Harris, whom they have reinvented as someone who has had no connection whatsoever with the Biden administration or with the previous edition of Kamala Harris. Everyone saw how in the recent debate, the ABC moderators fact-checked Donald Trump numerous times, but let Kamala's lies slide. However, the media support of Harris was much bigger than that. Matt Taibbi noticed immediately after the debate that all the stories in the mass media were about the things that Kamala Harris had talked and lied about, not the issues that Trump talked about. The media made Kamala's issues the only issues. And how on earth could anyone have been surprised that ABC ambushed Trump? Of course they did. How many thousands of times does the frog have to be stung by the scorpion before the frog figures out what's going to happen this time? The right completely underestimates the power that control of the mass media gives to the left. The scorpion's sting is deadly indeed. Here is the official Rightful Freedom prediction of the effect that an October surprise financial collapse in America will have on the 2024 election. The leftist media will blame it on Trump, and the people on the right won't be able to figure out how that could have happened. What? The mass media is leftist? Who knew? But wait, we have another prediction, and it is also about a financial crash in America. The future post-electoral surprise 2025. If Donald Trump wins the 2024 election, there will be a financial crash, probably in February or March of 2025, right after his inauguration. How could we make that prediction? Because the leftists already did it. They did it in the UK in 2022 to a freshly elected rightist Prime Minister, Liz Truss. The leftist Labour Party, the Bank of England, British Central Bank, and the treasonous rhino-like Tory party conspired to cause a financial crash. Then they conspired to blame it on Liz Trump, who had only been prime minister for a few days. They got away with it and were able to remove her from office. If you don't believe it, read all about it in our story, in our post on Substack, titled "Maybe the Dems Don't Plan to Steal the Election in 2024." They plan to steal the presidency in 2025, or in the Wall Street Journal. In a Wall Street Journal article titled, "The Deep State Lies in Wait for Trump," Liz Truss, a recent British prime minister, predicted that leftists will be able to destroy Trump's presidency, just as they had done to her, relating how Brit leftists undermined my tenure as Britain's prime minister, forcing me out of office after 49 days. I assumed that I would be able to drive through the agenda on which I was elected. How wrong I was. In a later Wall Street Journal article in June 2024, one of Liz Truss' most vocal critics admitted that she had been in the right all along. Ms. Truss became Tory leader and prime minister in summer of 2022 on a promise to slash taxes and regulation to revive the economy. When she released the first tranche of formal proposals in September, she fell victim to poor timing. Bank of England monetary policies already had made markets jittery, and small wobbles surrounding her mini-budget were enough to trigger a panic over improperly hedged pension funds. Then in August 2024, the Wall Street Journal printed an article titled "The Real Culprit in Britain's Bond Meltdown." Liz Truss's humiliating exit was an inside job by the Bank of England. A new BOE, Bank of England brief shows, about the role of the Bank of England, BOE, in the plot to get rid of the rightist prime minister. So the whole thing had been a conspiracy by several parts of the UK deep state to get rid of an elected prime minister who planned to lower taxes and decrease the size of government. In the US in 2025, the US leftists will do the same thing to Trump if he wins. And it will work because they control the central bank, the Democrat Party, the Rhino Republican Party, and most important of all, the mass media, the people who get to tell the story, and who can make up all the lies they want.
Thank you for your interest in Rightful Freedom. Please help us grow by liking and subscribing and commenting. We would love your feedback, and see more content at our website, rightfulfreedom.com.